What's going on, guys? Hey, what's coming back to? I wanted to bring you kind of a sad story about a man named Joshua Couch. And Joshua and his wife were a young couple. Well, younger. He was 32, and I think she's 30. Yeah, they moved out to California, and she was pregnant and gave birth last year to a child who died shortly afterwards. And obviously things were very difficult for them after that. Um, and they decided this year to go back to Alabama, which is where they are from. And on the way back to Alabama, they were taking a bus and they were at the bus stop in Tucson, Arizona. And some crazy young man was saying stuff and said something to Joshua. And apparently Joshua said something back like, go away, whatever. And this young man took a hatchet, walked up behind the bench that Joshua was sitting at with his wife, and chopped his head, almost chopped it off. I mean, horrific. And Joshua lived for about a week. He died last night, and I wanted to do a story earlier on this, but I ran out of time the other day. But I mean, the fact of the matter is, man, we all would have heard about this if things were the other way around. If Joshua were black and his suspected killer was white, I mean, could you imagine? I mean, look at what's happening right now with Carmelo Anthony. Again, 3 weeks after the event happened, less than that, they're doing press conferences, and his mother's out there crying, and families out there upset, and they're talking about how they're victims and everything else. I mean, again, how does that happen? Again, 3 weeks after he unalives some other kid who was unarmed, he used a knife, plunged it in the heart of another student, Austin Metcalf. He was at an event he was not supposed to be at, sitting under a tent that he was not supposed to be sitting under. And now they're up there talking about, that poor Carmelo might not be able to graduate with this class because, the school is upset with him. And again, man, the kid was either suspended or expelled anyways because he had gotten in trouble for taking a knife to school back in February. Again, can't make this up. And, and right now, again, Carmelo, he's a victim. And the Metcalf family, they're bad. And the sons are bullies and everything else. I mean, again, that's the way they portrayed this. And this case about Joshua Couch, you don't even hear about it. You don't even hear about it. Well, guys, I'm going to show you this. Watch.
New at 9, we are learning more tonight about the man attacked with a hatchet at a bus stop in downtown Tucson last weekend. I sat down with his wife, who witnessed the brutal crime, to talk about the journey they were on that took the most horrific and unexpected turn. Kristen and her husband, Jacob Couch, have spent the last several months in Los Angeles, grieving and processing the loss of their son, Brooks, who died shortly after birth in May of last year.
It was just a very intimate thing losing our son.
The couple was heading back home to Alabama to be with their daughters, 15-year-old Ella and 13-year-old Grayson.
And we were coming home because we just couldn't get it together. Like, we just needed our family.
But a detour to downtown Tucson would turn Kristen's world upside down again.
I mean, I just don't, like, I'm still in shock.
Kristen was sitting next to Jacob at this bus stop on the corner of 6th and Broadway when he was hit in the back of the neck with a hatchet by a stranger.
Seeing your husband was decapitated and being the only one to help, like, it's hard.
Kristen spoke with us outside of Banner UMC. Inside, the love of her life for over 11 years is in the ICU on life support. He's not expected to survive his injuries.
He had such a big heart and he cared for everybody.
We asked the family how they want the world to remember Jacob.
He was a very non-confrontational person. He wasn't aggressive. He was kind. He was so kind.
My brother is a sweet, sweet person. He had never hurt a soul. He would literally give the shirt off his back if you needed it.
Kristen says this about their trip, which was meant to help two wounded hearts.
We got to do a lot of the things that we wanted to do. I'm glad that we did, but it makes me wish we never left home.
A 25-year-old Daniel Michael has been identified as the suspect in this brutal attack. He's been charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault. Homicide charges are expected. Right now, his bond is set at $1 million.
All right, guys, I want to read this to you real quick from Fox 10 out of Phoenix, Arizona. Tucson hatchet attack victim dies. Suspect accused of murder. That looks like the brother right there. Okay, police say 32-year-old Jacob Couch and his wife were sitting at a Tucson bus stop when he was killed by a suspect with a hatchet. Days after the attack, Couch died at the hospital. The suspect, 25-year-old Daniel Michael, is accused of murder. Tucson, Arizona, a man who was badly wounded in a hatchet attack in Tucson has died. The suspect has been charged with murder. What we know, Tucson police say 13-year-old Jacob Couch and his wife were sitting on a bus stop on April 5th near 6th Avenue and Broadway Boulevard when a suspect approached him. The suspect initiated a confrontation with the couple, during which time produced a sharp-edged weapon and struck the male victim, police said. Following the attack, police say the suspect got into a public streetcar and left the area. Couch was rushed to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. There's a picture of Jacob. Investigators say that images helped them identify the suspect as 25-year-old Daniel Michael. On April 8th, Michael was found at his home where he was arrested. Police said that they were notified on Friday that Couch died at the hospital. As a result, Michael's charges were amended to first-degree murder. And down below, they have a map of the attack where it happened. But anyways, guys, man, I don't like to sound bad, too get too upset with the stuff, but we have truly got to understand that we are under attack in this country. White folks here are 60% of the population. And, again, black people commit, 55% of all violent crime in the country. If you are white, you are 28 times more likely to be killed by a black person than you are for black to be killed by a white. 28 times. Again, we got to understand what's happening. And again, like with people like Carmelo Anthony, a few weeks after he plunged a knife into the chest of Austin Metcalf, he's the victim. His mom's the victim. His dad's the victim. They're doing press conferences, whatever. They're upset because Carmelo might not be able to graduate high school. So what? He should graduate high school. He was already expelled or whatever anyways because he brought a knife to the school back in February. We have truly got to be honest with what is happening here. We're having a discussion about whether or not Carmelo should be able to graduate when he murdered somebody else. He's out on bond that was paid for by somebody else and was lowered dramatically by a black female judge. But yeah, we truly have to understand what's happening. We truly do. And again, man, we got to look at the way that black people have been conditioned. Not all, but a lot have been conditioned to feel about white folks. I'm going to read to you some of the comments that Carmelo Anthony supporters put online after they gave to the GoFundMe or whatever, gift go or whatever it is for Carmelo. Watch. Real quick, I wanted to read these comments that Matt Walsh has on his Twitter X page. It says right here, these comments of Carmelo Anthony's fundraiser are truly horrifying. They make it very clear that these people don't care whether he has a valid self-defense claim or not. They see Metcalf's murder as an act of racial vengeance. And I 100% agree with that. 100%, man. And this first one says, and I hope we help you raise 1 million. These white people can die mad like their ancestors did. Whites have been obsessed with black people for years. It's 2025 and the hate is embedded into their DNA at this point. They don't care if they don't know if they love us or hate us. Too bad we don't care. Well, actually, honey, you do care. And if you didn't care, you wouldn't be right that. But the fact of the matter is, the hate is in you. You are looking at white people as yourself. When you're filled with hate, that's all I can say. It's kind of like a hammer. All a hammer can see is nails. And again, you hate people around you. You hate everyone that's different from you, even though they're not really different. They look different. They have a different skin color. So again, you're a racist, and you believe they're the ones that are actually racist. And that's what the problem is. You don't seem to understand the reality of things. Again, a lot of black people And again, man, I'm not saying all, but I think a lot need to become more self-aware. They need to actually understand, look at what they're doing. Look at what they're saying. Look at what's in their heart. Look at what is controlling them. Because again, it's very dark. And no pun intended, but it's very, they had this darkness inside of them. And it's something, again, not, nobody's doing anything to them. It's just something they're being taught. I'll say by the mamas. Okay, right here. We are defenders of our lineage. This is America, and these flat whiteness immigrants from all over the world has always been open enemies towards foundational Black Americans from day one, no more. I really don't know what he means by foundational Black Americans because, again, there's no foundational Black American. There really isn't. As far as actually founding the country. There are Black people that were here for a long time. They came over as slaves or whatnot. But there's no foundational Black Americans as far as, people that actually founded the country. They were white. I'm sorry, they were white Europeans. Again, it's the open anger. It's the vengeance they want. And again, over what? They have been taught anger. They have been taught anger is good and hatred is good, especially towards white people. And again, I'm telling people it's going to get much worse before it gets better. People are going to have to come to grips with that. I mean, a couple of years ago, man, or a few years back, I was part of a men's group that met online. And you could tell these guys, man, they were kind of Northeast liberals. And, again, they didn't understand that, what's going on. And they were more concerned about how they look. Do I look good? Do I look like I'm kind, I'm compassionate, I'm this, I'm that? I'm not racist because, again, I don't want to be racist. And again, that's what they were concerned about. And they don't seem to realize they're going to see things get really, really bad till they are willing to stand up. Okay, this one right here, the last one I'm going to read. I am donating again after seeing the need for additional protection expenses. I'm so glad to see him get released on bond. These crackers need to understand that we are not our ancestors, and they will reap what they sow. I hope the knife made a full recovery. Justice for Camilla. Again, what kind of bullshit is this? I mean, you hope the knife made a full recovery? What kind of bigoted, nasty, moronic piece of shit you are? I mean, really. You hope the knife made a full recovery. Again, you can tell that whatever slapping around your mama did, begging you around or whatever when you were a kid, apparently you did not make any kind of recovery from that. Because I'm telling you, boy, you messed up. These crackers need to understand that we are not our ancestors. I'm assuming these crackers, you mean white people. And we are not our ancestors. So again, what are white people doing to you now? To you. Not your ancestors, but to you. What are white people doing? You have every kind of opportunity everyone else has. If you want something, work towards something, you can do whatever you want. Again, the only kind of systemic racism that we have in our country is where we have DEI policies. That's it. DEI is systemic racism. Do you understand that? You know, like, again, I don't, I'm not even gonna, deny for me to full cover. Again, these are the kind of people that, that don't need to, apparently, to, Carmelo Anthony, his, page or his, fundraiser. Again, guys, man, this kind of stuff is absolutely ridiculous. And that's why you're going to have much more violence from black onto white. It's going to happen. And it's going to happen again because, again, it's allowed. And it, in a way, is being championed. Again, Carmelo Anthony is being celebrated in a way because he killed a white kid. Think about that for a minute. Things are going to get worse before they get better because of that. Guys, man, if you would, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. You son of a.